Sometimes a life in music ends quietly. No final concert, no long farewell tour, just a short statement. And then the songs begin playing again. That's how the world learned that Neil Sedaka had passed away on February 27th, 2026, in Los Angeles at the age of 86. Within hours, his melodies were back on the radio, streaming across playlists and memories. And if you listened carefully, you realized something remarkable. Those songs hadn't really left at all. But to understand why his music lasted so long, you have to return to the beginning, long before the charts, the crowds, or the applause. Neil Sedaka was born on March 13, 1939 in Brooklyn, New York, growing up in a modest apartment in Brighton Beach. His father drove a taxi to support the family. His mother believed talent was a responsibility. When a teacher noticed the boy's musical ear, she saved money to buy a used upright piano. From that moment on, the keyboard became the center of his world. At just 8 years old, Sedaka earned a scholarship to the preparatory program at Juilliard in 1947. While other kids spent Saturdays playing outside, he spent them studying scales, timing, and discipline. That classical training shaped the way he approached music for the rest of his life. Every melody had structure. Every chord had purpose. But something unexpected began pulling him away from classical music. The radio. Between Beethoven and Chopin, catchy pop songs slipped through the apartment speakers. They were shorter, brighter, easier to remember. Sedaka realized something important. A melody didn't have to be complicated to stay in your head forever. At 13, he met lyricist Howard Greenfield, and the two began writing songs together in the famous Brill Building in Manhattan. Their partnership became legendary. In those cramped rooms full of pianos and demo tapes, these songs were written like factory work, draft after draft until something clicked. Then came the breakthrough. In 1958, Sedaka released The Diary, a song inspired by a small personal moment involving singer Connie Francis. The record climbed to number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100. Suddenly, the industry noticed him. Soon after came hits like Oh, Carol, Calendar Girl, Happy Birthday, Sweet 16, and in 1962, the massive number 1 hit Breaking Up Is Hard to Do. For a while, Sedaka seemed unstoppable. But music moves fast. By the mid-1960s, the sound of electric guitars and British rock bands reshaped radio. His piano-driven style began fading from the charts. His contract with RCA ended in 1966, and the spotlight disappeared almost overnight. For many artists, that would have been the end. Instead, Sedaka did something different. He kept writing. He toured internationally, recording songs in multiple languages: Italian, Spanish, German, Hebrew, even Japanese. While American radio moved on, the audiences in Europe and Australia still welcomed him. Then, nearly 10 years after his last major hit, something extraordinary happened. In 1975, Laughter in the Rain climbed to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Soon after, Bad Blood also reached number 1, holding the top spot for 3 weeks. Few artists ever experienced that kind of comeback. Sedaka never chased trends. He simply kept writing songs strong enough to survive them. By the time he was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1983, his legacy was already secure. Decades later, younger artists continued rediscovering his work, proving that a well-built melody can travel further than any single era. And maybe that's the true lesson of Neil Sedaka's life. Fame rises. Charts change. Music evolves. But if the song is honest enough, strong enough, sometimes it outlives everything else.